Hey guys, welcome back to Vincefield Custom. So today I'm sharing with you a DXA Designs Age of Apocalypse Kitty Pryde resin kits. I just painted up two of them. Basically, it is for the producer and his brother, so they each get one. And it's a straightforward kit. I did do a garage kit review on this a while back, and pretty much didn't have to do any custom work, didn't have to do any like tweaking or fixing. Everything pretty much went, you know, perfectly. Don't really have any issues. Just don't want to snag those claws on the back. Straightforward. There's only one thing. I think either I must have made a mistake. Either I put the wrong body in each one, or I got to just sort of tweak out the feet a little bit, which I might have to go back and redo. I just wanted to get the video going, only because the 1 foot over here sort of sticks out a bit, and this one sort of sticks out a bit. It's not kind of flush in the base. So I'm thinking what I might need to do is just maybe I have to drill out the hole in the mouth area there and put like a hollow brass rod in there, so the rod of the metal in the leg goes into it. I'm not really sure. I'll go ahead and fix that up tomorrow. I just pretty much wanted to get them shown and see what's going on. So it was sculpted by Sheridan Deuce. He does a lot. He did a bunch of the DXA design stuff. He did this along with the Colossus kit. I haven't had a chance to start the Colossus kit yet, but I will pretty soon. I really didn't have to do any like sand work. I didn't have to do any patchwork or anything like that. All I had to do was glue the feet into the shoes, basically into the legs here, because these were separated. And I left all this magnetized. And the reason why I left all this magnetized is just in case down the line, say anything happens or maybe something needs to be tweaked, it's a little bit easier to be pieced out. So I didn't really want to attach everything together. So her legs are separated, the torso is separated, the head's magnetized, the arms are magnetized. The claws had to be glued in. That's one thing we'll kind of go over about the claws. I think the claws are actually amazing, but there's just one little downside, but it's not the end of the world. As you can kind of see everything that's going on up there. If you're a fan or know of Kitty Pryde from Age of Apocalypse, you know that these monsters were in the storylines. I forgot what they were called. The guy from DXA Designs didn't mention to me what they were called. I completely forgot. But did a really great job. Now, the teeth and the tongues were all separated pieces, so I painted them all separated, then I glued them in at the end. We followed the color scheme of the characters from the comic, so they're kind of like a orangey, brown, gritty kind of skin tone with like kind of yellowish teeth, and then the armor is kind of like purplish, so it's got like that purplish sort of tint to her and everything. So we kind of just follow that scheme as much as possible. Now as far as Kitty goes, we're getting a little bit closer. What I tried to do with her face is kind of bring out the cheekbones a little bit, just to kind of bring them down a little bit more, since the face is a little bit rounded. So I just kind of wanted to work out the face a little bit more. One thing about the face that was kind of really difficult and I had a problem with doing it is the upper teeth were actually removable, as well as the tongue. So I guess they cut that out to make it casting easier. Otherwise, it would never get inside that mouth. So that was a little bit of a pain in the ass. I think that was like the hardest part of the whole kit, was the teeth. But once I pretty much got those teeth in there and everything, I painted up, worked out pretty well. So I just kind of wanted to, you know, bring out her eyeshadows, just to kind of really work out this face a little bit more, just to kind of bring it out, make it pop a little bit. Pretty straightforward with that. Skin tone paints, it's I'm kind of mixing up my own kind now. Hopefully it's coming through the camera all right. Trying to just, they're two different paints, since Garage Kit Colors is kind of like over until maybe gets a new brand going. You know, just kind of working all that stuff out. Now as far as the blue outfit, she has like sort of this shiny blue metallic outfit in the comics. So this is actually Tamaya metallic blue right out of the bottle. And then from there what I did is I went in and I did some like darker blue in like sort of the shading areas, you know, around in these areas and stuff. And then I went in with a little bit of black in there. Sort of the same thing over in these areas here. I didn't want to go too crazy with the black in there, because with this metallic blue, as you can see, as you turn her, you know, all that light and everything hits it in different directions. So you don't really need to go crazy with like the dark black or anything like that. At one point, I started to put like a black line in all this, and then what happened is I really didn't like the way it was looking, so I went back over with the blues and everything, and I took it out. I did not like forcing the black into these lines. I think when you get that metallic hitting those lines in different directions, you know, like you see in here, like the metallic pops up, that line pops up in there, and then when you turn her, it kind of disappears, and then it pops up. So I just figured, let me leave that alone. There's no reason to force that. It works out pretty well the way it is. Now, as far as the claws go, they cast it up beautiful. They're nice heavy metal claws, and they go in pretty well. Now, the only problem is they go in, and they're kind of like bent like that at the end, and they kind of go in like this angle, like into there. I wish there was like a little bit of another like little piece here of metal that would go into that just to kind of help glue it in a little bit better. But all in all, it's fine. But I mean, the only issue I have with this is, like, if you're not paying attention and you smack a claw, it might pop out because there's really not that much of a grabbing system in there. But I put enough glue in there to make it work. So as long as you're very careful with the item, it should work out pretty well. All in all, it's a straightforward kit. You know, as far as the gloves and the boots, what I did is just kind of did like a rubbery black boots. I didn't want to go just like straight up black, so it's kind of like this rubber looking paint, a little bit of a foam over there, but it works out pretty well. Now, the only problem I have with the kit, like I said, I'm going to reset these feet, just probably put a hollow brass rod in here. The only problem I have with this kit, and I have no control over this, I don't know, but I'm hoping they cast it up a rod high as possible. You know, I'm hoping that the rod just doesn't go to here, because over time or the wrong thing, this could snap. I'm not really sure. And the metal rod that's in her leg now, I don't know if it is, it's definitely not steel because I put a magnet on it, it didn't magnetize. So that's the only downside I have, because you can see with this one over here, I have to reset the foot. It's almost like the calf muscle is almost touching the tooth. It's not right now, but it's almost touching it. So I just have to go ahead and just kind of reset them, which won't be hard at all. You know, it's just a matter of taking I don't want to take it out now because it's very, you know, fragile with falling. And I think the last part I'm really concerned about, but I told the client, is this piece. Now, I glued these pieces on there, and it is attached to the this you know, neck guard. I kind of wish that the head went into the neck guard, and the neck guard stayed there, and then this piece was glued into the neck. But when you pull off the head, and I'll see if I pull off now, hopefully this doesn't break on us, but when you pull off the head, you see it's kind of floating there, and I don't like that. I wish this collar piece and this was cut there instead, because that would have been a little bit more, you know, secured, but that's just the way it is. So that's kind of the downside of that. So, like every kit, there's always something I see that I don't like, you know, with the engineering and like design, but then other kits, you know, it all depends. But all in all, I think they look pretty good. I had a lot of fun painting them up. I think the best part of this whole paint up for me was the teeth. I really enjoyed painting these teeth because I was able to paint the teeth separate without it being stuck onto the item, which was kind of a good change, because sometimes you get these kits and, you know, the teeth are stuck in there and you got to kind of turn this big thing to get. It was really just cool to paint them. They were like dentures basically, and then at the end I glued them in. I did paint this on a couple live streams too. I like to thank people that were in the live streams watching me do this. It was kind of fun to work on. But these are all done. So up next, hopefully in another month or two, once the warmer weather hits, I can actually pop out the Colossus kits. I got 2 of them, and I'll paint up the companion Colossus kit for this series for them as well. Those should be a fun paint up. I'm always happy doing the Age of Apocalypse stuff. It's probably my favorite X-Men story ever. I love Age of Apocalypse, and it was fun to work on these. But other than that, let's see. Kind of worked out the eyes too. And there was a lot more detail in the base than it was in the figure. I mean, she's just a generic, you know, female, basic, straightforward. But the base has all this detail in there. So, you know, just kind of really working out those weird eyes. You know, doing bloodshot eyes in there and stuff. And then, you know, kind of working out those stuff as well. So just a lot more detail, washes, and all kinds of stuff going on with the base. But all in all, that is Age of Apocalypse Kitty Pryde from DXA Designs. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back with some more videos.